On the News Channel 5 network, this is Inside Politics.
Hello, everyone. I'm News Channel 5's political analyst, Pat Nolan. Welcome to Inside Politics. It's always busy in the mayor's office at the Metro Courthouse, but this past week maybe more so than ever. Nashville's had a historic, almost transformational week in terms of high-paying new jobs and hundreds of millions of dollars in new business development and investment coming to town. To talk about that and other city-related matters, we're happy to have Mayor David Briley joining us again on Inside Politics. Mayor, welcome back to the program.
I'm glad to be here.
This is one of the weeks you really like to be mayor, right? You get to go to these kind of events, and Nashville really looks great.
Well, I love doing the job every day, frankly, but it was a good week for Nashville just to announce these jobs here, and it's going to change the city, I think, much for the better in the coming years.
So do you agree with Governor Haslam, who said it was like Christmas came twice, and in this case 3 times, because in addition to the investments being made by Amazon and EY that used to be called Ernst & Young, we also have the SEC men's basketball tournament staying here now for decades, except for 1 year. I mean, that's quite a trifecta.
Yeah, it is a lot of great news for the city of Nashville economically, for not just for this year, but for the coming decades.
Now, there were 20 finalists for the Amazon headquarters. They wound up splitting them into 2 headquarters, not 1. The other 2 cities were going to be New York City and the Northern Virginia suburbs right outside Washington, D.C.
Right.
Nashville was the only other city Amazon announced any investments in this week. So is it fair to say we were first runner-up for the headquarters?
Well, I'll leave it to Amazon to say that, but I will say that these 5,000 jobs coming to Nashville are important to the city. I think it's going to help us as the economy changes in our country. These are the kinds of jobs that a city is going to need to be successful, to offer prosperity to the people who live in their community. So it's great news for Nashville.
What did Amazon specifically see in Nashville that we came up so far to the top among the 20 cities that were vying for the headquarters and ultimately going to be this regional transportation operations hub for them?
Well, I think that it is workforce. I mean, they look at our city and see that we are recruiting and bringing in a lot of great workers.
Do we have enough workforce?
Well, I don't think any city has enough workforce right now, but Nashville's a place where people want to move and want to live and want to come and get educated. So it's a good place for people to move to.
We're going to have more specially trained workforce because this is going to be some high-tech jobs, I understand.
They are, and so like every city in the country, that's the part of the economy that's growing in our country, and so every city is facing the challenge of trying to have more workers that fit into that.
What about Nashville's central location that people always talk about? Was it that? Was it the quality of life here? What role did that play?
I think quality of life was one of the principal factors, and the optimism, the sense of energy in the city of Nashville is the reason that EY and Amazon and so many other companies are deciding to move here.
Now, EY is coming here. They kind of got lost in the shuffle a little bit. 600 jobs coming to town is no small investment, and they're investing millions of dollars in a new facility.
They are. Why is their investment here so important? Well, if you look at their jobs, they're pretty interesting. It's 600 jobs. 200 of them are essentially coders, software engineers, building out a software system that EY uses with their clients. And so it's an indicator that Nashville's economy is changing, that these high-paying, high-skilled jobs are really going to be relocating and being built here in Nashville in the coming decades.
And the Amazon jobs, I mean, they have an average salary of $150,000.
That's right.
This is not a fulfillment order place they're putting.
It is not. These are essentially executives that will be running the fulfillment and transportation and logistics part of Amazon's business.
Now, in terms of the SEC basketball tournament, you're just resigned that we're going to be Lexington South every year, and the Wildcats are going to come down here with a blue mist and win the tournament?
Well,
they do well.
I'm pretty sure that Kentucky is planning on that being the case, but it's actually interesting. You know, it's one of the unique instances where people from all over the Southeast come together for some period of time.
What is the Center for Excellence? That's part of the plan. They're going to be here with Amazon, along with being sort of the regional East Coast operations headquarters. Right. What does that mean, the Centers for Excellence?
Basically, it means that the executive team will be located here in Nashville. The executives that are running all of the logistics and transportation and delivery services for Amazon.
Now, just to talk a little bit more about those negotiations, you came into office back in March. At that time, all anybody knew was that Amazon was looking for a second headquarters. When did you learn that our negotiations with Amazon were changing from negotiating for the overall headquarters to more of this operations hub?
That would be back in early October.
So was that late in the process? Were you surprised that Nashville had gone that long? Because a lot of cities were already by that time saying, well, we don't think we're going to make it. We don't know. It's been great to be on the list. It's helped us. Our visibility is good. But people in Nashville never said anything about that. And I thought that was kind of interesting at the time.
Well, Amazon really wanted to have an objective process as they looked at cities, but they also wanted it to be pretty confidential. So I think people in Nashville lived up to their obligations. In the private sector, they'd promised not to talk about it, and they didn't. And then we never really heard a no. Until we heard no, we thought we were still on the playing field. And when they came back in October with this new opportunity, it seemed like the right fit for Nashville.
Were you surprised that you thought it was heading in that direction, or did you think they were coming back to say, well, thanks guys, you were good?
We had a little bit of a heads up that that's what they were coming back to talk about.
Is downtown Nashville ready for this? I mean, 5,000 new employees downtown is a pretty big hit, although it's going in a part of town that already is in process of change because of Nashville Yards.
Right. So we have about 70,000 employees every day downtown already. So adding 5,000 will have an impact, but it's not going to change downtown radically. Without regard to that, Wednesday we had a meeting in the mayor's office of all the government partners that are going to be involved in the construction of the facility and managing the traffic that is associated with it to make sure that we're getting out ahead of the curve.
And you wanted to make sure to tell them it was your priority, and that should be their priority to make sure that that works.
That is correct. Additionally, the developer of Nashville Yards has already commissioned a new traffic study to look at how traffic is going to move around down there, and our Public Works Department is working closely with them to make sure that we are on top of it and making sure we make the adjustments we need to.
Well, there are going to have to be changes to the traffic flow as you probably were going to have to do that anyway with Nashville Yards coming in. Now I also see there's a new major hotel being announced down there as well. But that's going to is that going to change the road patterns there and going into the rest of downtown? They talk about themselves as being a new gateway to downtown.
I mean, that's what we're going to have to look at, and we're going to make sure that we make the adjustments that are necessary to move people in and out of downtown effectively. Now, one interesting thing about Amazon is that their past history indicates that about a third of their workers at a place like this are going to either walk or bike or use transit to work.
So you're looking for new residential developments to take care of that.
There's going to be a lot of residential development downtown, I think, and if you look at the corner of 12th and West End already, there's a 24-story building going up that's going to have residential in it. So I think we're likely to see more of that, see more people getting out of their cars and living without a car, frankly.
Nashville Mayor David Briley is our guest on Inside Politics. We're talking about a major week in Nashville for new jobs and business investment. Back to continue our conversation with the mayor after you watch these messages.